I think adapting is part of transition, and it's a stage, and I think if a person never adapts, it's unhealthy and like unsettling.
It was a hard transition. I didn't understand American culture. They didn't understand me, and we clashed. And it was a long process. I'm in a great place now, but it was a long process to be able to get to a point of understanding on mutual sides. And even if people don't understand my side, I'm more open and understanding that they don't understand, and I'm more okay with that than I was at first.
I've tried to really understand the perspectives and the thoughts and kind of get into their heads and try to understand sometimes what seems closed-minded and shallow, but trying to get their perspective and, knowing that they haven't had the experiences I've had and trying to relate to them.
I think MKs need to be humble.
That was my first thought. There's a lot of pride.
Humble and patient. Because there's a huge temptation to butt in and be like, yeah, well, you like pizza? Well, guess what? I live in Italy, so I know pizza, Or like, there's a huge temptation to be like, no, you don't. That's not how you pronounce it.
Being able to find someone who will walk with them in the process of transitioning, that they can go to about the littlest things that don't make sense or they don't understand, just to really help that transition. But it's hard because I know some of them try to seek for that, but they don't find it, or there's no one there that, especially in those beginning stages, because they're new and they're the newcomer.
People are all the same, and I think especially as an MK, like, you put yourself in a box and you say, oh, MKs, like, we're so special, like no one can understand us, but like there are people that can, and like there are so many other ways to connect with someone besides like where you grew up, or the experiences you had.
And so I think your attitude has to be, well, I need to just treat the States like any other place you're going. Like, if I was moving from Germany to Kazakhstan, I wouldn't go in there and be like, hey, I'm in a cake. I'd go in and be like, hey, how do you eat this? Or how do you say this?
Your desire is to fit in, but that pride keeps you from fitting in because you're keeping yourself separate instead of because you don't want to let go of your past and you don't want to lose that. And so finding the balance between completely letting go or just adapting. It's like we need to adapt, but it's hard because you want to hold on with an iron fist to your past, and then the pride of that keeps you from entering into those deep relationships because you're not good enough, or you don't understand. And so honestly, a lot of it's our fault.
I think it's a positive thing to be able to look at America and pick out the good and the bad and appreciate the good and really enjoy the good and understand the bad, because if you go to a foreign culture, you don't want to just go in and be like, oh, well, this is terrible and I hate this and this. You're allowed to hate it, but to try to understand why people are the way they are, I think is really helpful.
I think in Australia, I've recently heard that they're getting more knowledgeable about MKs and what it means to re-enter them well. I guess they talked about missions and supported them, but there was nothing for missionary kids or even a sense of they exist.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah, it's parents with little kids who are going overseas. Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm 18, I'm back. Help.
I didn't mention that I did attend several reentry seminars. They were both good. Sometimes they felt a little trite and, too many easy pat answers. But some of them were very applicable, everyday, how to use a debit card, how to write a check. And
I've compared it many times to marriage. You have premarital counseling to get ready for marriage, but you think you're prepared and then you get married and you realize you're not. And that's how I felt about coming to the States. I thought I was prepared. I had studied and listened and, tried to be prepared, and I wasn't. I don't know what would have changed it, though.
I don't think that much more could have been done than what I experienced. I think there's going to be an element of shock and just rough transition, regardless of how prepared you feel and how much support you have and how many seminars you've gone to. And you still got to struggle through it.
I'm a big fan of MK reentry retreats. I feel like that the transition time, just connecting and talking through that can help the transition. I just feel like, and like with almost every part of life, it's something you learn as you experience it. And maybe there's certain things you just have to experience.
We just want to know that people know our existence, have thought about us, have prayed about us, and when we come back to a church that they even recognize us.
When we come back to the States or Australia and we're by ourselves and we don't have physical family or blood family where we're in our new place of going to college or working, what I need from you is I need you to love me and I need you to bring me in like family, and we will make ourselves at home whether you like it or not. Please don't think you're not going to understand us. You may not in the beginning, but if you want to know, we'll let you in on our secrets and our experiences.
I always felt like transition maybe was the end all be all. You get through this transition stage and then you're adjusted and you go on with life. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that hasn't happened for me. Maybe it happens for someone out there. So each new stage of my life, I've had new issues or things that I've needed to address or process from my life overseas. It doesn't just end at some cutoff point in my life where I suddenly have arrived. But just your growing up years are so formative that they do affect your whole entire life cycle.
We're done.
Yay.
We can go to bed.
Upstage, because downstage is blocking the view.
Oh.